Hey everyone, Chrono Pinoy X here once again, and today we're going to focus on the Apex monsters introduced within Monster Hunter Rise. We're going to take a look at 3 topics surrounding these monsters. The first one is 3 Apexes that I believe are missing in Rise as of right now. Then, we're going to take a look at potential returning monsters in the upcoming expansion that could get an Apex counterpart at the same time. And finally, we're going to take a look at new monsters introduced in Rise that I personally believe should get an Apex counterpart with the upcoming expansion. Let's quickly focus on the 3 monsters that I believe are missing an Apex in Monster Hunter Rise as of right now. Now, for those of you wondering why I personally believe we are missing 3 Apexes as of right now in Rise, it's actually because of the fact that, believe it or not, the Apexes are an up-to-date version of the Deviants introduced back in Generations and Gen Ultimate, and Capcom even added some new attack moves for the Apexes not seen on the Deviants. Now, with that being said, there are 3 monsters in Rise as of right now that did get a Deviant back in Generations but not an Apex in Rise. These are Nargacuga, Tigrex, and Lagombi. Now, with all of that being said, either Capcom didn't plan for them to have Apexes in any capacity, or alternatively, Capcom did plan to add an Apex for these monsters, but due to time constraints with the pandemic happening still, it meant that they couldn't add them in the final version of the game as titled DLC updates. Hopefully, this is something that Capcom can add with the upcoming expansion, which means we may yet get to see Apex Nargacuga, Apex Tigrex, and Apex Lagombi. Shifting our focus into monsters that could potentially return in the upcoming expansion and get an Apex at the same time, the best way for us to determine potential candidates is by taking a look at the Deviant list. This will give us a good idea as to which monsters Capcom can pick for returning monsters in Sunbreak and make them Apexes at the same time. The Shogun Cyanator is actually a great example of this because this monster not only is returning into Sunbreak, it also has a Deviant back in Generations, which is Rust Razor Cyanator. They can incorporate the Rust Razor moveset into a Shogun Cyanator in Rise, and that would give us the Apex monster. Bearing in mind though, this is just an idea. It means that Capcom may not even go one-to-one with the Deviant list and change the formula by adding in monsters that didn't have a Deviant back in Generations but still give them an Apex in Sunbreak, so keep that in mind. But as of right now, I think the best way for us to determine which monsters can become Apexes is by taking a look at the Deviant list. Now, in this final segment, we're going to quickly talk about monsters introduced in Rise that I personally think should get an Apex form within Sunbreak. There's only one I can really think of as of right now that I really want to see in the upcoming expansion, and that is Goss Harag. The reason for this is because Capcom could easily improve upon this monster's capabilities and turn it into an Apex monster by giving it more weapons it can forge. Imagine a Goss Harag that's capable of creating a bowgun-like weapon, a hammer, or maybe even a longsword. At that point, this monster would be scary. That's because this monster is capable of forging weapons with ice. There's no limit to what it can forge at that point. This means that Apex Goss Harag is an easy concept for Capcom to visualize and realize because of how unique the monster's capabilities are within this title. Having said that though, if you do have any other monsters outside of Goss Harag that you think Capcom can turn into Apex monsters, let us know in the comments below which ones they are and how you think Capcom can improve upon them in order to turn them into Apex monsters. And that's gonna be pretty much it for me for this video, quickly covering the topic of Apex monsters as well as how Capcom could potentially improve upon them with the upcoming expansion. Now, with all of that being said, if you enjoyed these videos, please consider hitting the like on the video itself and subscribing to the channel as well as hitting that bell icon so you can go ahead and catch up on any future Monster Hunter content that I might be doing or any other games that I might be playing in future. Until then, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Onward and upward.